Good morning. Now, yesterday, or 2 days ago actually, I dabbled a little bit in Google Mail AI. And to be honest, it wasn't me, even though they were my words. AI jazzed them up somewhat. But to be fair, AI is capable of dumbing things down. If you've got a very technical post or even a medical one, it will dumb it down for you so that ordinary Joe Blogs can understand it. And since then, I've done a little bit of research into AI. And the rabbit hole is much, much deeper than I could ever have imagined. Google AI, ChatGPT, Perplexity, Grok, and Chatbox are numerous and very, very frightening indeed. And Perplexity, you can do up to 5 searches a day, and that's your limit, and then it's on a paywall. And most others are under a paywall. However, it seems to me and a lot of other people that AI is being used for nefarious means. Like newspapers are printing summer reading lists of AI-generated books that have never been written. Apple Intelligence is making up fake BBC headlines. And people are going crazy as ChatGPT calls them spiral star children. Facebook and other social media platforms are printing fake AI-generated historical photographs. Why? Presumably to make the internet totally unreliable. And all this is pretty damn scary, but it goes much, much deeper than that. What happens when someone like me, a curious person, asks AI to analyse 9/11? That's a big one. And the results are astonishing, as they will most certainly surprise you. Grok's own conclusion defy the official narrative, and I quote, "While I'm not here to fully endorse any single theory or conclusion, I believe that censorship and blind faith in official accounts do a far greater disservice to the truth than open inquiry ever could. The families of those lost on 9/11 and the countless millions impacted by the wars and policies that followed deserve full transparency. But I guess, like the Epstein files, they will never be shown." And in that spirit, I share this opinion, not as a final word, but as an invitation to question everything. End of quote. And I'll leave that right there, because with AI, we have no idea what is truth and what is fiction. And just maybe this is part of the bigger plan. Who knows? I certainly do not know, but I know enough to be cautious of anything mainstream, especially the propaganda better known as the news. News coming from you wherever you are in this crazy world. And they try to confuse, befuddle, and blatantly lie. And the big question is, why? Why would they do that? Having said that, I'm sure AI can be used to make a better world. But the bigger question is, do we trust the operators? I most certainly do not. AI is capable of writing you an essay on whatever subject you desire. It can even write your dissertation for your PhD. Isn't that cheating? Of course it is. But at the moment, most things written or spoken by AI are fairly easy to spot. But what does the future hold? It's the scariest thing ever to be born. and we will become slaves to it and not knowing what is fact or what is fiction. And uncannily, Hitler wrote in his Mein Kampf about Grobe Lüge, and that translates as the big lie, given to the world by Joseph Goebbels, probably the greatest and most evil propagandist of all time, up until now. And I'm sure the more computer literate among us will accuse me of being a Luddite. But in my humble opinion, AI will become a very dangerous step too far. Having said that, there is an AI detector, and most people today can detect AI with voices and messages. You can read in between the lines. But now there is a thing called GPT-Z, which is 0. The latest speech research in detecting Chat GPT, GPT-4, Google Gemini, Llama, and all the new AI models, and investigating their sources. But the question still remains, how clever can AI get? And I'll leave that thought with you. And along with that thought, I will leave a link to someone who recognises the futility of the modern internet and what it has become. This guy is pretty miserable bugger, but he's truth what he says. The Functional Melancholic tells a grim story of the capture of the internet by AI, turning it into an unreliable platform. And of course, it's all down to design. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.